Hello, welcome to Barbarack YouTube channel. So last time I did a short video about NPN to PNP transistor, how to change your circuit so they work. I have this on the website. There's a bit of write-up about how to do it. What are the differences? There are really just a few differences. It is relatively straightforward. Okay. If you want to go ahead, have a look at that. I'll have the link in description. I'll have a write-up for this as well in description. There is at the very end of it. I did kind of a bonus of modifying Fuzz space and how to actually do it. So that's actually what I'm going to do today, just to demonstrate that, So if you want to see the previous video, go ahead, have a look at it. A link will pop up somewhere, I don't know, around the screen. But let me go and do this actually. Let me show what I'm going to do. What I described in that previous video, that was theory. In practice, I just slightly adjusted this, okay? So I have just one point where I make the changes. So first of all, I'll just get rid of these transistors. And obviously, coming from NPN, PNP, the transistors need to go. So I need to change these NPN transistors to PNP. I have BC559, C in my case. I really have only very few PNP transistors. I don't use them that often. They're not very commonly used. They are relatively common in other things, so I just don't use them. So that's easy. Just replace, and they have, you just need to worry about the pin out. They have pretty, once you know how to just rotate them around, it's fine. They're not really difficult to replace, and you'll see that when I get to breadboarding it. And the only thing really here is to just rewire this, right? So I'm going to go and move ground here. I'm just going to do something like this. Going to change this and, just wire this up here. Easy, right? And this is pretty much the same what I did in the previous video. One thing that is different is that here we have this polarized capacitor. So we have to get polarity right for the capacitor. And if you look at the write-up on my blog, you can have I put up a video where you can see what happens with transistors, electrolytic capacitors, electrolytic capacitors if they're not connected correctly. Polarity is incorrect. They will for certain their the substrate inside of them will kind of deteriorate because they require. That's why they're polarized, and that's why they can carry more capacity than, say, metallized or those metallized film capacitors or those ceramic capacitors. But the electrolytic inside will deteriorate if they're not correctly wired up, and in some extreme cases, it can they can blow up or they can catch fire. Now, I doubt this will happen, but you don't want to risk it. In our case, anyway, let me do this. Move, rotate. So that's it. That's really it. this circuit, despite maybe looking more complex than that LPB1, it's really not that much much more complex. One thing to note is I haven't swapped polarity on this capacitor. You have to realize that this is, you know, DC voltage is zero here. If we look at it from that perspective, the DC level is zero here. This is positive here because, you know, well, you can go negative because your reference is here, not you know, it doesn't depend on this part of the circuit. That's why I was saying, like, you have to make a clean cut here, and this is your circuit. This inside is your circuit that you're modifying, not the whole thing. So this is certainly the case for this circuit that you don't need to change this capacitor. But imagine if you had multiple stages of amplifiers, and then you have coupling capacitors in between them, and then you need to worry about, it depends on how the circuits are biased, and etc. This is really simple. So let me go and breadboard this and see how it goes. But in description there will be a link to you know, breadboarding diagram and this schematic. So if you want to have a look at that at your leisure. Okay. Okay, let's rewire this now. I need to replace transistors. Good. I'm using BC559C. Okay, let me bring that. Replace this. So this is what we are going to do now. The only difference here is transistors and where the power goes. So let's do this.
I need to replace this. Here, power. Oh, nearly forgot. Okay. Nearly forgot to swap around the capacitor. Okay, let's see if this is working now. It's definitely working. Yeah, it's working.
So that's really it, right? So you heard how that sounded. I mean, PNP transistor was quite different, right? The sound was, at least when I heard it, it sounded different. Now, I wouldn't be reading too much into it. It's not that the PNP transistor makes it any kind of different from NPN transistor. I'd say it's probably just possibly different um, gain is maybe different. Just wiring up of the breadboard could be different. There's so I wouldn't be reading that much into it. But it's hard to not notice that there was a difference in sound. So your mileage may vary. I use the BC559C for that. It's high gain, low noise PNP transistor, complementary to BC549C that I use it in. I tried it out in one of the previous builds. Yeah, building Fuzz-based clone. So give it a try. See how it goes for you. I hope this was useful. Until next time.